What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Holistic Nootropics podcast. My name is Eric. Good to be back with you here. Doing a little freestyle recording. I know it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since I've been on recording content for the podcast because, man, life just went berserk in the last year. It's probably been about maybe 6 months or so since I posted anything on the YouTube channel or on the podcast. And wanted to, A, give a little update as to what I've been doing, but B, also maybe tie it back into what we talk about here at Holistic Nootropics, which is, biohacking, nootropics, holistic cognitive enhancement. So I've been stewing on this podcast for quite a while, and I just got to get it out. I got to get the content out because it's driving me crazy thinking about it and thinking about how I'm going to record it. As you can see, there's no fancy studio. I'm in my kids' room. I got the literature in the back. We're working through Goodnight Moon right now, so some real heavy reading. So really in the last year, but really mostly the last 7-8 months, there's just been so much going on. I have, I had another baby, so now I got 2 young children. I started medical school. I moved all the way across the country. So there's just been no ability for me to post content. I know since I last recorded, a lot of people have joined the channel. We've doubled or tripled in size. People keep coming on every single day. People are commenting on videos, which is awesome. People are commenting on blog posts. People are commenting on the TikToks. And I feel bad because I can't respond. And I would love to. It's just that, unfortunately, because of the demands of my life at the moment, I just don't have the capacity to do it. Alas, I'm here now today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be addressing anybody's specific questions, but what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys really about how a guy with 2 young children is managing to get through medical school. So I'm going to medical school here and, with 2 small kids, 2 young kids, one is 2, one is not even a year old. And man, if any of you are like a full-time student, maybe you're a little older and you're going back to school, going to graduate school. Maybe some of you are in medical school. You know the demands of that. Some of you might be parents. Some of you might be parents to young children. You know the demands of that. I'm fortunate enough to get to do both of them at the same time. And I'm somehow keeping up. I'm somehow thriving. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have these ambitious goals, who want to do stuff, who get into biohacking for whatever reason because they want to feel superhuman. You want to feel optimized because you feel like that's the way that you're going to be able to give yourself the energy to face the day, to hit your goals, and to live the life that you really want to live. And I think that's great. I think that's nootropics are a great tool for that. I think biohacking is a great tool for that. But I think also there's a lot of people out there talking about nutrition and biohacking who just they don't use it in their lives. They're just biohacking so that they can be a biohacker on social media and talk about the joys of biohacking and sell stuff. Again, no hate, but I'm just saying that's the reality. And I think what happens is a lot of people get disenchanted with with the health space because there's a lot of bullshit out there and there's a lot of people hawking products and they're not either A, using it themselves, or B, using it to really do anything. Really, the rubber hits the road when you start using it to do stuff and you see hey, does this help me in my life? Does this help me in my career? Does this help me at school? Does this help me be a better person? Does this help make me more fulfilled? Do I feel happier? Do I feel more productive? Do I feel more focused? Is my memory coming back? And you only know if you're actually doing something. So, I'm out there, I'm going to medical school, which is super, super cognitively intense. Just a little background. I'm in medical school now. I'm about midway through my first year. I am midway through my first year. And it's been 20 some odd years since I've been in, it's been 20 years. 20 years since I graduated college. So I'm kind of an old dumbass. And I've done a lot of other stuff, not medical school in my life, not school, period. I never thought I would go back to school. But here I am in school with a dumb old brain, and I'm working my way through freaking 28, 30 credit hours of like hardcore medical school stuff, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, medical genetics, immunology, and all of this stuff requires such intense focus, such intense memorization. And I want to give you guys just some like, I don't know, just like some bits that I'm doing to get through this stuff, and maybe you can use it and apply it in your life. Maybe you can take the things that I'm doing to get my old dumb brain to remember things like, every muscle in the back, or every muscle in the hand, or every, blood vessel that runs from like your, from your heart down to your feet and then back up to your heart, to remember like, what a G protein coupled receptor is, to remember, every step of the point from when you ingest a carbohydrate to when it turns into ATP energy. Maybe some things that I'm doing to keep my brain functioning properly, you can apply in your life to whatever you're doing, and maybe it'll help. So there's nothing advanced that I'm doing. And being a nootropics channel, I have to give you a heads up. Nootropics are a part of what I'm doing. So maybe some of you found us. I know a lot of you found this channel because you were researching about a certain nootropic, and I just happen to have a video or a blog post or a podcast about that thing. And you were like, hey, this dude seems somewhat competent. I'm going to give you a follow. I'm going to give you a subscribe. I appreciate that. But what I really believe and what I have found as somebody who uses these nootropics is that nootropics can only do like so much. You can't rely on them to do the whole thing for you. On a scale of 1 to 10 of something you want to do, nootropics are doing like a very small part of that. I believe that if you have a thing you want to do, you're responsible for 0 to 9. 0 to 1 being the hardest part of that journey, just getting started. Going from not doing the thing to starting to do the thing, 0 to 1, that's probably the hardest step you're going to take. And that only comes from your desire to do a thing. Then 1 to 9, that's like the work. That's the part where you're like, fuck, how dedicated to accomplishing this thing am I? Okay, you can get to 9. And then you use a nootropic. Whatever nootropic it is, could be like an all-natural nootropic, could be like an herb, it could be like a rhodiola rosea or a maritime pine bark, or even like an amino acid, like an N-acetyl L-tyrosine or a carnitine or a taurine. Maybe you're going to go a little harder. You're going to go like a bromantine or a racetam or something like that. Whatever your flavor is, that's going to take you from 9 to 10. That's going to do the last 5 to 10% to get you there. So that's how I use nootropics. I really try to, I force myself to do the hardest work first up front. And that's just get my ass to show up every single day. And mind you, it's not just showing up for school, it's showing up to be a dad. It's showing up to meet the demands of taking care of 2 little kids. And that's everything from like waking up with them, making sure they're fed. By the way, they don't just eat. You have to feed them. You have to prepare the food for them. One kid is potty training. One kid is learning how to eat solid foods. Both kids are going crazy, throwing stuff all over the house. By the time I leave my house in the morning, I've already been through war. I've already been through a battlefield of dealing with kids. I'm pretty spent. Then I go to school. Then I got to really lay the brain work down. So for me, before I even get to nootropics, the first thing I'm doing is I am fasting. I'm time restricted feeding. I know this can be controversial for some people. It doesn't work for everybody. But for me, I find that without food in my body, without my digestive system having to like digest calories and move them around, and having my blood sugar, modulate, and forcing my body to make ATP out of like calories through going through glycolysis and the Krebs cycle and using all of the cofactors, I find just fasting and having an empty stomach really allows me to focus on what I got to do without even, and I don't even think about food because I've been doing it for so long. And I typically fast for, on average, probably between 16 and 18 hours. And that is going to utilize all the glycogen in my body. So basically, by the time I eat, my glycogen is used up, and I'm just getting into the fasted state where I'm going to start using more fats for fuel. By the way, I'm not using ketones yet for brain fuel. That doesn't hit until about the second day of fasting, which I'm not going that hard. I know some people like to. I've done it. It's not really my jam, but if that's what you like to do, that's totally fine. Also keep in mind, I'm well aware that when I do a fast for like 17, 18 hours, I'm also utilizing proteins in the muscle. The muscle amino acids are getting used up for fuel. That's part of what, fuels your muscles. It fuels your brain. It fuels your liver to work. It fuels your kidneys, fuels your body. And that's not great. But what I do when I break my fast is I eat a very high protein, moderately high fat, very low carbohydrate, not no carbohydrate, but low-ish carbohydrate meal. And what I find is that I eat that like first thing in the afternoon, so about noon to 1 o'clock or so. And I find that just completely satiates me. Like I'm full and I'm not drowsy. I actually get a boost from the food I eat. So, a lot of people complain like, hey, in my day of eating, when the afternoon hits, I hit that afternoon lull and I get tired. And this is when people start drinking like energy drinks or like a 2 p.m. coffee or something like that. And if that's what you do, you have to understand you're probably going to deal with sleep issues. And so a lot of people, they can't fall asleep, they can't stay asleep because you've taken in caffeine way too late in the day. I find when I fast, that 18 hours or so, and then I eat, the food actually gives me energy. It actually powers me all the way. Like I don't have to eat again if I don't want to till like, 6 o'clock or so, 5, 6 o'clock, which is like 4 or 5 hours of not eating. And I'm totally fine. But I do like to eat higher amounts of protein throughout the day. So for me to be able to get in that protein, I do have to eat like some protein containing food between that breaking the fast and dinner. And I do that because having a high amount of protein is really good for the brain. It's really good for the body. It's really good for the immune system. It's good for longevity. It's good for staving off illness. It's good for, did I say the immune system? The immune system. It's good for, high protein is it's very beneficial if you're going to start putting your body through the demands like I'm putting my body through. So that's really two things there. So time restricted feeding and high protein. And how high protein, it's individual. You'll see people say things like, if you want to build muscle, like you need at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. For me, that's very hard to hit. That's just too much food in a short amount of time. But I try to really get as close to that as I can. So I'm looking at probably like 0.8, 0.7, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And so, some people have to eat a lot of food to hit that. That's up to you. But I would say, like, to me, that's like the biggest thing is ending the fast with a high protein meal, keeping my blood sugar stable. And so then I don't hit that crash. I don't get tired. I don't start craving sweets. I don't start craving caffeine. And then later on at night, man, I'm telling you, like 9 o'clock, I'm out. I'm done. I'm toast, which is hard because I have to study. So typically I'll spend another like 2 hours after the kids go to sleep. So from like 8 o'clock to probably 10 o'clock, I'm studying because I have to. I have no choice. Or if I want to, I know a lot of people do this, they'll go to sleep early and then wake up super early in the morning. And that's the other thing too, having the 2 little kids is sleep, on a good night, 6 hours, average between about 5 hours or so. And that's not ideal. Like if you're biohacking, if you're really trying to like optimize, you should be going for like 8, 9 hours of sleep, at least 7. And if I hit 7, man, that's like vacation mode for me. But it's hard to come by. So this is why I'm recording this right now, because, I'm going through school doing not the things that you do as a biohacker. No, I don't, there's not enough red light block or blue light blocking glasses out there to help me. There's not, I can't take 15 different peptides and 37 different supplements throughout the day to power myself. Like I have to work with bare minimum stuff, which is like, look, to me, if you can go bare minimum and really feel good, you're doing it right. And of course, I'm recording this. I got a cold. My nose is stuffed. Right. I just got like a thing. That's what happens when you have small kids. You get viruses and the body's worn down and, you can't fight them off and they get you. So you feel congested. You throw stuff up your nose. You do a couple neti pots. You jump on the podcast. You try to drop some knowledge after you've been around for 7-8 months. So intermittent fast, high protein. Those are my 2 top things I do. Then, like I said, I like to do the nootropics. You might be like, Eric, what nootropics do you do? To me, simple is best. I don't got time to sit there and think about like, my specific nutritional needs. All I can do is just kind of go off of the pre-formulated stuff because I have to really trust that the experts have made these things good enough to actually work. So my 2 top pre-formulated stacks, I've talked about them many times, NuCube and MindLab Pro. Some people complain like, oh, the City Choline or the Alpha GPC in these things is underdosed. Oh, the Rhodiola things are underdosed. Look, you can't be a person taking nootropics and feel like you know more than the scientists at these companies, unless you are a scientist. Look, if you need 500 milligrams of Alpha GPC to really feel good, then take it. But I also think like there's other things you can do, which I'm gonna talk about next, to help not need that much alpha GPC or not need so much rhodiola rosea or not need so much N-acetyl L-tyrosine. I find, like I said, I use nootropics to get from 9 to 10. I don't use nootropics to get from 1 to 10. I use it to get from 9 to 10. 0 to 9, that's on me. That's my tenacity. That's the amount, that's like my own drive to get shit done, to be successful. So that's what I do. So to get from 9 to 10, nootropics, I don't demand a lot. But what I do is, I drink some coffee, I pop a couple of NuCubes or a couple of MindLab Pros, and what it does for me is it takes me to that point where I'm not just learning material. Again, after I'm fully exhausted, like we're talking 9 in the morning, like I'm already exhausted because my morning has already been 2 to 3 hours of dealing with 2 just crazy dinosaur kids. Then I go to school and I'm already exhausted, but I got to sit down and I got to get the study going. Then I got to go to class and I got to listen. I got to pay attention. I got to take notes. And then I got to sit down again and I got to put all that stuff into my brain and make it stick there so that I can pass tests that are going to come like fucking water out of a fire hose within the next, week or 2. So, so I'll use a nootropic to kind of take my brain to that level of like, oh, this stuff is now starting. It's like putting sticky paper on my brain. My brain is powered. It's up. It's looking at the stuff. And the nootropic is like, it's like a covering of sticky paper over my brain and it just sticks there. And then what it does is it gives me more mental energy to kind of last a little bit longer throughout the day. So to get into my afternoon classes, to go into my cadaver lab and really be engaged, to really be memorizing the stuff I need to memorize through like 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night. And then to go through all the stuff I got to go through in the evening, and then be able to really keep going 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then eventually, man, when I sleep, dude, I just pass out and it's a beautiful feeling. So the nootropic that's the second thing. Now, the third thing that I'll say, and look, this might be a little controversial. I know like some people, have a hard time with this stuff, but like it's really addition by subtraction. So it's about avoiding the stuff that's going to sabotage my ability to be at my best. So in a lot of ways, that's food. So I already told you about like my fasting concept. That also plays into when I'm eating. So not eating super high processed crap. So like if I go to the grocery store, I don't go to the middle of the grocery store at all. I don't buy bready stuff. I don't buy pasta-y stuff. No macaroni. Like I do eat rice. I do eat carbohydrates. But keeping the sugar super limited. But I do eat a lot of fruit. I think that's very important. There's a lot of nutrition in fruit, a lot of fiber. eating like red meat, a lot of eggs. These things have choline in them. They have, again, all the amino acids, that whole entire amino acid profile of essential amino acids that my body really needs to function, not just in my brain, but throughout the whole body, the mind-body connection. Yeah, I'll eat potatoes, dude. I'll eat some rice. I'll eat, like some chickpea pasta. Is my diet perfect? Not by any means. And I don't think, unless you're like competing or really trying to be like an like an Instagram influencer, you have to worry about a perfect diet. But it keeps me going, avoiding sugary stuff, avoiding, like, if I drink coffee, no sugar, no cream, just straight black coffee. So, and then also, when it comes to vegetables, like avoiding high oxalate vegetables. So staying away from things like spinach, not eating too much broccoli, because that can, like, high cruciferous vegetables can, they do have, I think it's perchlorate. What is that chemical in cruciferous vegetables? That it's not perchlorate, it's sulforaphane. I think it's sulforaphane that sabotages the thyroid, which can mess with your ability to convert to make T4, which can mess with your ability to get T4 to T3, which is a hormone that really unlocks a lot of potential in the cells throughout your body. So that's not like my main thing, but I'm just saying, like, that's an example of like how I'm mindful with the vegetables that I do eat. And then of course it's like about a lot of food prep, so that I can just grab stuff and go. So on Sundays, I'll take like 2-3 hours, and I think everybody has this time to just prep all my food for the week, so that, dude, when I go. I'm not spending time cooking and cleaning. It's like stuff is ready. Yeah, it does kind of suck to eat essentially leftovers every day, but at some point you just think, like, dude, food, it's my fuel. It's like, I'm beyond the point of eating for pleasure, and it's just straight survival. So, these are things I'm doing right now to keep myself able to be a functioning, well-performing medical student and to be a present father. And I hope listening to this or watching this, maybe, I don't think most of you are in the position that I'm in. You might be in harder positions than me. Maybe you're in not as intense positions, but whatever you're doing, that's like the world to you. I think really being able to set the table physiologically for yourself so you can show up and build a biochemical profile of yourself to really pursue the thing that you want to do and excel at it is extremely important. And at the end of the day, that's the whole point of biohacking. The point of biohacking is not to buy the most supplements or to, spend millions of dollars on like the most advanced treatments. It's really about doing what you have to do so that you can show up in life and then excelling and then just leaving it there without feeling like you're not doing enough. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you take it away and do whatever you want with it. If you want to support us, head on over to holisticnootropics.com. Check out the myriad of articles that we have there. We have a lot of really interesting stuff. Join the TikTok at Holistic Nootropics. Join the Instagram at Holistic Nootropics. Subscribe to the podcast if it's your first time listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if it's your first time watching. And I will catch you guys whenever the heck I record another one of these. Take care, everybody. Go kick some ass. Peace.